Words of advice. Never date a mama's boy. I'm telling y'all. You'll regret it. I know you will. Because I dated one for like 3 months. It was not long at all. But it was so stupid. Like, the guy did absolutely nothing nice for me at all. And I'm like positive that his mom was like just telling him to like never go out of his way or do anything like special for me or any girl in general, because he was literally obsessed with his mom. They did like everything together, and she just wanted him for herself. We never even went out on like nice dates or anything. The only time he would invite me out, it was to like benefit him. So we would like go to the gym because he was really into working out. One time I like went with him to the vet to like pick up his dog. Like, that was his idea of a date. We never went anywhere nice. He never did a single thing for me because his mom would literally tell him like not to go out of his way. Don't spend money on girls or even go out to dinner with a girl. Like, and I love a guy who loves his mom and like respects her, appreciates her. My boyfriend now loves his mom and would do anything for her. But like, he has his own opinions and own thoughts on life. Like, he doesn't listen to every single thing she tells him. Like, I can't deal with that. This guy could have been on this show, Mama's Boy, or whatever it's called, something Mama's Boy, because that's literally what it was. So freaking weird.
Boy moms, y'all argue with y'all firstborn sons like they y'all sibling. My son just got home from school, sits at the table, having his little snack, and then he got to doing homework with his mother. I step outside to mind my own business, as we all should. I come back inside, they arguing with each other over homework. Now, of course, this is my time to shine. I step in and shut it down. Ain't neither one of them finna yell louder than me in my own house, especially a grown woman arguing with a 7-year-old. First question Danielle asked me is, how do you spell jump? Now, I'm a little dyslexic, so it took me a minute, but I successfully did it. Jumped. They arguing because the boy put 2 P's instead of 1. I told Danielle, just let him get it wrong. He'll find out who was wrong or right when he come back home tomorrow with red X's all over his paperwork. I'm trying to figure out is how I come from outside hearing y'all yelling at each other. I put a little bit of bass in my voice, and now all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. Danielle come up in the room. Well, you did raise your voice at him a little bit. Mom gets to scream, shout, and stomp all over the house, and now they in there talking to each other like they the best of friends. Dad puts a little bit of bass in his voice. All of a sudden I'm the enemy, and he's sitting on somebody's couch because he can't get right.
I thought of more stories to trauma dump to you guys about growing up with a boy mom. My brother and I are only 3 years apart, but when we were really little kids, my brother was still used to getting his way. And if I did something that he didn't like or didn't get what he wanted at the end of it, he used to bite himself and then blame me, like say I did it. And he would leave marks. Like, he would bite himself until there was a visible bite mark there. And he did that pretty much until he decided he had enough of it. Because there was a point in my life where I lost my 2 front teeth and he would still bite himself to get me in trouble. And the bite marks, of course, still had the teeth in it. That didn't matter. My mom, she was so quick to just blame me, saying, yeah, you get it. Going off of that, I feel like I became the master of timeouts at this time too. And our timeout room was in our laundry room that was connected to the garage. So I sometimes would go out in the garage and play, but that also would get me in trouble. So then I just started hiding my toys around the laundry room or in the garage. So whenever I would be thrown in timeout, I would just grab them and be able to play with them just to get through it. One time my family and I went whitewater rafting on our vacation, and they let us get out of the raft or like stick our feet in, but you had to have a buddy like for the kids. And it was my family with another family, and they had 3 boys in theirs. So when we were all like in that part, like of course all the kids want to get in the water. And when I for some reason got paired up with my mom, my dad was supposed to pull in my brother. I don't know how that setup got happened, but when it was time to pull us all in, I look up to see what my mom's doing because I'm not getting pulled in, and I see she's arguing with my dad on the way he pulled my brother in, and I didn't see how he pulled him in, but she was like yelling at him about this for some reason. Meanwhile, I'm still in the water and we're headed towards some rocks. Basically the other family's mom had to pull me in, and then my mom proceeded to cry and hug me like, oh my god, I can't believe it. Both my brother and I played volleyball in high school, except she would come to a lot of his games because she didn't have a job at that time, and she was working when I was playing. But when we had our games, like they had set times where they would depend on when the first team would finish. And I would always try to communicate that with her. I would try to tell her like an estimate time, but she would end up missing the game or whatever, and whatever, it didn't work out. And it was always frustrating to me because I felt like it was always my job to know what time it is, to like text her during the game, even though we weren't allowed to have our phones out. And when my brother started playing volleyball, he didn't need to do any of that. She just was such a diehard volleyball mom, like worked at the concession booth, was in the group chat with all the other moms. Like my mom would have never when I played. So that's another.
Story time on how my ex-boyfriend's mom tried to fight me. So boom, so this was my first boyfriend at the time, first relationship, first anything, you know what I'm saying? So basically, long story short, we were talking for a minute. He finally asked me to be his girlfriend. Cool. I meet his mom. I come over and meet his mom. I meet his mom. She was a nice lady. You know, I've only seen her so far, like when we've been on the phone, hear her in the background here and there, but so far, like she was a cool lady. So like when I first met her, I was like, oh yeah, she's cool. Like, you know, As time went on, our bond got a little bit stronger, and I made sure I wasn't doing anything like disrespectful, like cussing or staying over too late or like keeping doors closed, you know, like stuff that you would find disrespectful, you know. And I'm not gonna remember every detail perfectly because this happened around 5 years ago. I don't remember how far along we were in our relationship, but I do remember the first altercation. So I remember we had hung out at Hurricane Harbor and I went to get some pizza. We were hot, we were swimming all day, and we did half-half. Like, we were literally in high school, so like, he paid for the tickets, I paid whatever. But I don't remember who paid for what, but I just know I paid for the pizza and it was like $30. I got like pizza and some atomic wings. Keep that in mind, I got atomic wings. Very important. It was around time for our parents to pick us up from Hurricane Harbor, so I texted my mom, he texted his mom. My mom was in the area, so she was able to get us up right then and there. Keep in mind, they live 6 minutes away from this location, so when his mom said, oh, I'm coming to go get y'all, we thought, oh, okay, like she like 3 minutes away basically. No. We had no idea we were going to be sitting in the hot Texas sun in the middle of summer for 40 minutes. She pulls up and she says the reason why she was so late is because she was getting her nails done. And you're probably thinking, oh, well, she was probably in the middle of appointment finishing up. No, she was on the way to us. And then she stopped and went to go get her nails done. We get back home, I sat on the pizza and, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I just heard him bit into one of the wings. So while I'm sitting down eating, I needed water really bad. So I asked my boyfriend at the time, please go get me water. Cause I didn't feel like getting up. So he goes to the kitchen and gave me water, but keep in mind, they are living in a really small apartment, so I can see straight out of his room to the kitchen to his mom's room, and I can hear everything. I'm just looking at him like, where's the water at? He looks at me and he says, my mom said you can't have any. So I'm like, this must be a joke. I'm dead ass laughing. I swear to God I was laughing because I was just like, what? So I'm like, what? So I go out to the kitchen and I'm trying to look for where the water's typically are at. There's no water. So at this point, I just literally get the sink water because I can't do this right now. He walks back into his mom's room. I'm still in the kitchen. I can hear her yell out, she didn't give me no pizza, so I'm not giving her no water. So I'm thinking to myself, there's no way she's like, actually, are we serious? So I'm thinking this is a huge joke on me, right? Because I felt like we were so cool. So when she was saying all this, I kind of peeked into the door and it's like I could see the jugs of water by her bed and she was visibly upset. I just said, okay, I'm not gonna do this, and I caught a lift back home. So the next morning I received a huge text message from her and I thought it was going to be a paragraph of her apologizing about her behavior, because then I was literally, y'all, before she even texted me, I already apologized. Keep that in mind. When I was on the way back home, I sent a whole text message apologizing, being like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, because like, bro, that's the last thing I want to do. It's a whole paragraph from her, not even apologizing, but telling her that it's my fault for how my mom raised me. That was the first altercation. I'm not gonna lie, my response to that text message probably wasn't the best. I was only 16, y'all, and trying to be mature. So that was the start of the downward spiral since then. The snarky comments, the post on Instagram, like, bro, it was a lot. I remember we reached our 1 year and I was coming out the house, and instead of her telling me how beautiful I looked and how gorgeous I am, she looks me up and down, face scrunched up, and tells me, your mom let you leave the house like that? My boyfriend at the time also got me like flowers and a whole gift set, and instead of her being like, oh yeah, she says, oh yeah, my son did all this for you, he really did a lot, he really didn't have to do all this. Like I said, the snarky comments, it was consistent. So boom, I really don't know what led to this. I seriously don't. I swear to God I don't. I stopped going over to his house because I felt like the jealousy and envy reeked so fucking bad that I felt uncomfortable even being over there. I feel like she'd be the type of bitch you fall asleep and then all of your hair is gone. So I don't remember everything that happened, but I just remember where I was at when this happened, and I was on the phone with him, and he had his AirPods on, and he went to his mom's room, and he forgot that AirPods listen to you wherever you go. When he walked into his mom's room, his mom was on the phone with someone saying ruckus, just I noticed that she on the phone with homegirls, and when I listened closely, it sounded like she's talking about a woman. So then I mentioned 17-year-old. Wait, is this funny about me? She started going on about how she feels like I'm so grown and so fucking disrespectful, and I come in his house and act like it's mine, and whoa. Keep in mind, she's calling me a bitch in these same sentences too. And her friend on the other side is agreeing with her. Keep in mind, I have not been over there in I don't know how long. So I'm thinking to myself, this is weird. That's why I just stay quiet, because I'm just like, you're still talking shit. So then I noticed my boyfriend at the time also had no response to this shit. He acted like this was a normal occurrence, just walking in on her, talking shit about me. So I'm just like, wait, hold on. So that means she does this all the time, and you allow it. So I'm just so bewildered right now that I hung up. I was like in a state of shock that this felt like a huge fucking joke. So he calls me back and he's just like, why'd you hang up? He has no idea that I heard everything that I heard. So I'm looking at the camera like, literally with the same face I have right now, like, he's just like, what? And I was just like, there's no way you really like, and he just still acting confused. And he's just like, man, like, what do you mean, man? Like, so obviously not helping to the situation, I start arguing because I felt so fucking betrayed by everybody. I start arguing, she starts arguing. Then she threatens and she says, you know what? Get this bitch out of my face. I should beat this bitch ass. situation was dead. It was done. I just had to give y'all story time because that really happened to me.